So the first person that I chose for my case study was Ben Johnson. He's a young adult male who was admitted to the hospital for a diabetic ketoacidosis and was diagnosed newly with type 1 diabetes. I believe that weight bias was present in this emergency assessment because the note also says that he needs to be referred to a dietitian for weight loss based on his BMI and a one-time 24-hour recall of his diet. And this happened when he was experiencing extreme dehydration from the hypoglycemia, and while he was acutely ill. So this one-time dietary recall could be completely skewed because of what he was experiencing. I also think that at the moment, weight loss is not the proper thing to be focused on because of this newfound diagnosis in the autoimmune disease. He has no idea how to treat it. It is probably very scary to have this new diagnosis and what this looks like, and to experience this be his first experience in what diabetes is for him. So I think that this is not the right time to be focusing on weight loss. So as I would speak to the practitioner or the nurse that recommended the weight loss and the prescription to go to a dietitian, I would then go to the clinician and be very frank and privately, but frank about the fact that I don't think that weight loss is the right call right now. I think focusing on the education of the diagnosis in and of itself, so he can be educated on what it looks like and use medical terminology and explain the urgency and the concerns of the insulin deficiency, the ketogenesis, the dehydration, the electrolyte shifts, and the risks for diabetic ketoacidosis and what that looks like, so that we can prevent this from further happening or prevent further damage to his pancreas, and look at what treatment actually looks like. And then once we get a basis for that and get to know him and have those things, we can start seeing if that either relates to weight loss because he's making smarter choices because of his diagnosis, and if not, then we can start introducing those questions and all of those things to him. So in session, I would start with not lecturing him about his pizza, his alcohol, and the drugs and all of those things. Why, yes, those need to be addressed, but right now he's probably just worried and very stressed, and right now those are his coping mechanisms, which is what it looks like. So trying to take everything away from him and then give him this big scary diagnosis, I don't think would go well. So I think we ask what feels most overwhelming to you. I would listen to the concerns about money, about work, about injections, about the loss of independence and all of those things, and reflect and affirm. Like, coming into the hospital and allowing his roommate to help was super important, that he's making good steps, and giving him the encouragement that he's already taken, so it doesn't feel like he's just failing, because if that's what we start up with, he's not going to want to continue, and it's going to be very, very, very discouraging. But I would also ask if it was okay if I educated him on a few things about what his diagnosis was, and would it be okay if I explained a couple things for your safety when you do go home, and how your roommate can partner with you in that. I would say, like, insulin use, glucose monitoring, signs of like hypoglycemia, and like trying to give him those information so that he could see those things and be able to use the medication and all the things that he got in his new routine and feel a little bit more comfortable for him. And then I would ask him to choose one realistic goal, like replacing a little bit of the daily orange soda with some more water or a sugar-free alternative, and practicing carbohydrate counting for one meal. So I would see if that would be, I'd give him those options and see on a scale from 1 to 10 how confident he was in completing those things, and seeing if that was even something that he was ready for. Because then it's not focusing on weight loss, it's, hey, we're focusing on this portion to help you not experience this, and not the shame of you have a bad diet, you're unhealthy, and you're making yourself worse, because that's not what we're here for. So I think the one strategy I would look at for the weight bias that is present is it's called bias pause. Before adding weight loss to a care plan, the clinician would see if weight loss is directly related to the problem. I would ask myself these questions. I would look over his chart, look over actual dietary recall from a week of actually feeling not acutely sick. Have I addressed any biological, environmental, or financial causes, so I can see those and start to look at those before I'm just saying you need to lose weight? Because if focusing on those things and giving him the tools for that can lead to weight loss, because we're focusing on healthier choices and not trying to shame him in the fact that he's overweight. I would also use person first and neutral language to avoid the assumptions and just really try to relate with him on the fact that this is really hard and understanding that diagnoses are scary, but not being an addition to the weight bias.